Good Wednesday afternoon slash evening, depending on where you are. It's American Richie Mahjong League. Nathaniel here, joined by Michael. And Michael, are you looking forward to these second six matches?
Definitely. I haven't commentated much C1, so I'm not sure quite what I'm up for, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting one here. We've got Eden in the positive side of things, which is excellent for anyone who's in the C1 division. And Scott, Drew, and Jessa are on the lower half, chasing Eden down. And of course, our first dealer, Naya55, is Drew on the right. Elser is Eden. Cross the table, Scott 007 007. That would actually be the Scott G. And on the left, Ipamoya is Jessa. And Drew, of course, in the starting dealer spot with a really nice looking high pie here. Okay, I say nice looking. It's got
It's
a lot of pairs.
interesting.
Yeah,
So
interesting is a better word.
normally there is like an Intotsu shape here, but now we've got actually 5 pairs. So I think actually efficiency would tell you to drop the 9p and just take this Chitoy on the Dora probably, but that draw complicates things a bit.
Yeah, we've already sacrificed our Yaman in the Pinzu.
That is not the correct cut.
Ooh, that is the Dora. Yeah, missing out on a chance to pair up Dora for Tenpai.
That has that
I tell you
has
what
to
this
have
is.
been.
It's a Suanko greed. This is dreaming of Suanko.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you're well. If it is, then you should keep the 7 over the 6.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the 6 is already used once as an indicator. But it looks like it's Toy Toy now. So
Yeah, you can play for Toy Toy and still, dream about Chi Toy. Like if you drew second Dora, sure, you'd take that Ricci Chi Toy Dora 2 as dealer is excellent. Or even Dama for
okay,
96. But yeah.
I did say it was wrong, but if the idea was to Toy Toy, then you'd cut that first, I guess, if you're worried about safety.
Yeah, from a safety
So
perspective, it definitely makes some sense. I think, but strictly from efficiency, you're at the right 6 pin first, and we're gonna see Tempai. So Drew is getting there. Tempai on the 1 mon and 4 pin for Toy Toy only, but with some extra bonus foo, will increase the value of the hand. We do have
Jessa calling into Tenpai on 6-9. That 9 is quite held, as we see. But that would be for Tondor 1.
oh, and immediately finds the 6 pin. So it
Toy
is
Toy
the
dreams. Well, I don't know if you dream about Toy Toy, but the Toy Toy certainly didn't come together. So
Toy Toy dashed, you might say.
yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm glad you're on the ball.
Alistair is Eden, who has been having a pretty strong season so far. 8 firsts and, well, 7 fourths. I'm familiar with that position. But Eden has a positive 52 with that score line, which is really strong. It means those fourth places are probably, relatively low, comfortable fourths that you just barely missed out on third. And means the first places are very strong. So looking forward to seeing what Eden can put together in this dealer hand. There is a Dora 1 pin, and the other shapes are kind of so-so.
This is one of those hands that is like taunts you by it's like is this some kind of outside hand? But then you've got 4-6-7.
Yeah, that 2 pin is a really huge fill,
It
walking in the
is.
door shape, but it also encourages you still to go for that outside hand. You're a 1 mono draw away from really, really thinking about it.
I think that would be the only draw. Because even the 8, you're still like, well, I don't want to break out this Ryankan.
Right.
So
Oh, speaking of which, here's that 8. You could go with the 8 so first if you want to preserve the shape.
no, just playing well, I think I prefer fixing the pair here.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, we don't want to give up that Jiankhan, but dropping the 9 does indeed give up that chance. And so, and maybe missing out on a chance for 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku here too. So there are some potential paths to value that's being missed here. we did see a call on the left for Drew, aiming to use that concealed triplet of the North Wind to just confirm a fast and cheap win. And everyone else at the table relatively slow, although Jessa across the table is doing quite well. Ishanten for Ricci Pinfu potentially.
Drew decides to go to cut away from all the pairs, so it's currently headless. We'll have to figure out a way to address that issue.
Jessa draws into Tempai, slams a Ricci. It is Ricci Tanyao waiting on the Shabo 7-so, 8-so. It's kind of like not the ideal draw for her because she didn't get the Pinfu chance or Dion Peiko chance even. And of course the wall taunts by immediately sending a 5-mon her way.
Right.
And a 6-so. Oh my goodness, it was Dion Peiko. It actually was.
This is a little dangerous.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's dealer
Could be
Tempai.
2 first, though. Yeah. I feel like I prefer Ricci if you're going to push there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Eden still had the 1-mon, there'd be value in the Sanchoku Dora. So you could justify the Dama there, especially if you think you can redraw the 9-mon back into like a Junchan. But turns out that it just deals in anyway. So
right.
Oh well.
This hand, strong so shape. The pin shapes are, well, that boosts one a little bit. Not so fast overall.
You're really hoping to pull around something around this 4-mon, and even the 6-mon is okay because then you can draw the 7 and the 8 and get a 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku. And here's that 6-mon. Okay, we're on our way.
Okay, all right. On the right, Jessa has actually pretty strong shapes outside of that 7-9 Kanchan there.
Reach.
But ends up on that as the weight.
Reach.
And a chase on 7-pin Kanchan from Scott.
Yeah, and Scott doesn't have to worry as much about the Dora because it's been cut twice already. So he'll just fight for his dealership, even though it's Richinomi.
So we've got Kanchan versus Kanchan on the board at the moment versus a Ishanten Hunitsu for Eden.
Yeah, Eden's definitely got a temporary sort of value advantage. Oh my goodness, the 7-pin.
It's gonna come right out.
The last 7-pin comes out before any of the 3, 8
It's a little aggressive to push that before the North, but I do understand it.
North, even the 9-mon was Suji to the Ricci, so you could have argued to play a little bit more safe. Because, I guess the plan was going to be Poln and then Tonki on something, right? And you don't.
That probably is. That would be the reason to keep the North.
Yeah. I'm not so sad about 7-pin jam. If there's only one Ricci, I'd be even less sad. Against 2 Riccis, it's a little bit scarier. But Scott pulls out the win here and has another pair-heavy hand. Now 5 pairs.
It's 5 pairs. Yeah, I think you don't have to hard commit to the Chitoi, but I think actually I like 7-so there to keep the North in case Chitoi happens.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you because the North is such a great weight for Chitoi. Like who waits on the North, right? Other than every Chitoi
we've got some people in our league.
Got some Peitonki fans, but just very fast. You shot that already.
Oh yes. This looks to be. Oh. So, that. We'll have to see. I feel like this round's going to be decided on who draws to the south and when.
Right. Eden's just pressing full force towards this Toy. And this is a tricky weight, but Shoppa weight a little bit
Strong
weaker.
draw for the toy there. Um,
Haku in the wall. No, oh, 9-so's gone, actually. That's unfortunate. Right, so
oh, I didn't notice.
I just noticed that as
Yeah,
well.
so even if you get never like not as strong as I thought before I noticed that, or I guess before you noticed it.
I, there is an opportunity to switch to Intotsu there, but because you're still Atotsuke on the Haku, oh,
Boom.
never mind, here it is. So it's a
Yeah,
wait.
you just take it.
And Scott is now Suwako. He shot 10. So we're going to have another player fighting. Drew's still a couple tiles away from Tenpai. Doing his best to defend here. Drops Nakasuchi 5 mon.
I think given that one mon is already out, if the other one comes out, I think Scott has to pwn.
Kang,
Oh, Khan.
Oh,
Oh, no.
interesting.
Long,
And that.
Uh,
Okay.
Khan's
Reeling the 5
Khan's
so.
Jessa out of 5,500 points there.
The con definitely unexpected because once you've opened your hand like that with an open con, a diamond con, you can't get Suanko anymore, and that was a
Yeah,
Shazayakmon.
it's a curious choice.
But in the end, I guess it led to Scott being in first place. So can that really be a bad thing?
Just like calling Atazuke already, might just end up on this Dora Kanchan at the end of the day, or at the end of the hand. I don't. Potential strong hand on the right. Potential 5-6-7 Sanshoku potential. Honitsu across the way. Pretty. I mean, you even dropping an Anko feels weird, but this hand is otherwise quite Honitsu looking. So.
boom,
Yeah, and committing to it right here.
Mm-hmm. And for that reason, Shun going to be held for a while.
each,
Oh. All right, it's Drew's turn to fight back. Richi, Pinfu, potential Sanchoku 5-6-7. Should the 7 so be the winner? Or 7 so wait. 3 tiles in the wall.
boom,
Now, we are seeing some players at this table who are not afraid to take fights. I can tell you that much.
This extra 7 is
Gee.
not doing much in Jess's hand at the moment.
sumo,
No, well,
But it's sumoed first, so this is going to be significant.
Uda would have turned
no
it
Ura,
on it,
so
but I mean, Mangon is excellent. Getting the Takame Sachoku is beautiful for Drew, who will now move back to his dealership with the lead.
yeah, it's a beautiful hand. So this also quite a strong hand, though. You do need to fill the. Oh, you can choose to go with the extended Ryoncon here to improve the chances that that'll fill without you having to call. There's a potential 4-5-6 on Choku here if you can draw that way or call into it. In fact, I think if a 5-mon came out, I might just
each,
go for it. But already Arichi to the right, 6-9 so. That is not Pinfu, but is Richidora 1 on a good weight. So
Yeah, classic. Just a quick note, I realized that the players had 18 games. This is game 3 of 4 of their session 5, so they're finishing up the round 5 game. I've updated that.
oh, good catch. The 6 is mostly held. 3 9's in the wall still, though.
Yeah, 9 more likely to come out than a 6, but especially with the aggression that we've seen come out from the other players. However, no one really has an amazing hand. I mean, Scott's Ishanten, so he'll probably fight.
Scott's Ishanten is well, I don't know if it's super wide, but it's there.
If he draws something like 4 mon or 9 pin, or even yeah, one of those two, will have the choice as to whether he wants to take the wider weight, the Diamond weight, or the weight for Sananko.
Right. When it comes to chasing, the width of the weight does matter quite a bit.
For sure.
But we might see, that doesn't necessarily mean that people always take it. So
Right. If there's a big enough value difference, then you could argue to take the smaller weight. Uh-oh.
Long.
Scott ends up throwing it first.
Yeah, got drawn immediately by 2 players. Drew holds it, Scott drops it. No, Uraso only 2,600. And going to South 2, still relatively close. What a gorgeous high five for Drew, but we're going to move
Oh, wow, yeah.
move forward to Eden. Also not so bad. Relatively decent block, can accept Adora into this hand.
Yeah, not too much special going on elsewhere at the table. Pretty normal looking hands aside from this particularly nice looking high pie.
Yeah, just sort of ready-made Tanya with
on the
3 for 5
left.
Sanchoku chance on the left for Drew.
Likely to be cheap unless can be drawn into closed though.
Certainly has a lot of tile acceptance to draw. Scott might think about building a Sanchoku on the right, and there's a 6 mon. So we'll go ahead and drop the Ton. And this is Ishanten. Did I say
What do you
Sanchoku
think
when
about this
I meant Itsu?
4-pin cut?
Hmm.
Well, we were underblocked, but we have been gifted a block.
Yeah.
So
Maybe premature. You could argue for the twice cut east because that's less useful. But ends up, we'd find ourselves in the same situation at this point. And could be a really nasty Ricci for Eden here, waiting on Shabo Hatsu Wonso.
it definitely could be.
Scott
not the mon draw you needed there.
Right? Scott desperately wants an 8 mon, but those are starting to get thrown around the board. Only 1 left in the wall.
Attaching to the wrong shape.
Yeah, I mean, it would keep that 9 mon because it's Dora. I was about to comment.
That was probably autopilot there.
Yeah, it was a clever move to discard the 5, Tsumogiri the 5 instead of discarding the 8 because it allowed you to accept the Dora. But then
and then you decided not to accept it.
Okay, choice on weight here. Going with the Shabo, discarding the Dora. Maybe recognizing that the 8 just isn't very live, even though that gives you a Dora and Itsu.
I wouldn't have been able to resist the pricey weight.
Yeah, the Mongon, guaranteed Mongon. And Drew looks at that 9 and says, well, it's safe to the Ricci, it's safe to the dealer. I guess I can just drop it.
So this 3 was that 3 like I don't think that 3 was known to be safe, so I think that's a commit to the Shabo, or just assuming that you're going to get the green at some point still.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at this point you're wondering why hasn't it come out yet? And the answer is just deep in the wall.
We don't know.
Still one mon left in the wall for Scott to potentially small. Nope, found it.
Dong.
Yep.
Ja hits an Ura, so 26. Plus the stick pack will put Scott over 30k. Very relevant in these games where you want to be floating over 30,000 points to earn
All
a
right.
positive score.
Well, Scott, if he can make this hand work, has an easy 2900
Yeah, ready.
potentially.
Ready-made Yakuhai calls. Kind of.
Interesting. Jessa already packing that quad of 8p in the hand, holding off on the con for now.
Maybe giving people time to build their 7-9 Kanchan shapes, only to dash it later.
Oh, yeah. But this does feel like some, some loaded up con shenanigans waiting to happen. So
yeah, because she has her blocks set already, she can afford to wait for Ishanten, I guess. Seichi across there from Drew, Atosge or Honitsu, we're not sure yet. Probably just going to take the Tenpai if the Hatsu comes out, and here's that Hatsu. Okay, so we'll take the Tenpai for now, waiting 3-6 mon for Yakuhai only. However, if he draws another So tile, he might be convinced to move towards Honitsu for a little extra value.
that'll be interesting to see.
He does have to consider, like, he isn't first. Winning 1,000 points is perfectly acceptable.
So Scott is playing this hand interestingly. It can't be both these Yakuhai and this Sanshoku.
Yeah, so he's hedging both at the moment, but that likely means that one of these Yakuhai is just going to be a pair in the hand.
It probably does mean that.
Or even that one of them will be discarded if he really aims for the Sanshoku. Right, decision time. Which shape is your worst shape? Oh, goes with a 1-3.
Well, that may spell an end for this hand.
Each.
Unless he folds.
Jessa as well, like, has been in danger of dealing it this entire time, but hasn't drawn a single useful tile, so hasn't been able to deal it.
Dong.
So it will be Scott pressing forward with that dealer second Yakuhai call, or triplet, and dealing in, dipping him just below 3,000. Again, very relevant here in South 4, all last. So there's a decent chance that we might see another South 4.
Jessa has, a good chance at a cheap hand here. So we could see 1.5k, and let's move on to the next, to South 4-1. But let's see what else is on the table. Drew's hand actually already Ishan 10. Though if he decides to pawn, will be, oh no, has an extra, so it could just pawn right into Tenpai here.
It was interesting. We saw him call Atosuke earlier for the once cut, Green Dragon, and here he had the opportunity to call into Tenpai with a 9-pin for the waiting for the Chun. Maybe the difference was that this would be a terminal call, so that it's a little bit more suspicious. He decided he didn't want to reveal that information, but maybe if the 6-pin came out, he would call it.
That's a good point. It would be interesting to see. I think maybe yes.
Oh,
well, this shouldn't be the 6, so.
So we saw Jessa pass the pay. Now she has a Yakuhai triplet in hand. Pass the pay. It looks like she wants to Richi, and Richi is where the value is as dealer here. So Could be a really strong play.
Boom.
There's the tune finally, though. Maybe Jessa did need speed after all.
I think, yeah.
Oh, lets it go again.
Reach.
And there, drew into what she wanted. That slams the Ricci. Ricci non. 4-7 Mon.
Not so bad, actually, for this. Well, two 4s, 2 7s left. I think that's about average for reaching at this point in the round.
The funny thing is that if she summos the 4 Mon, she gets extra foo. 8
Oh,
from the
because
south, 2 from the sumo, and then 2 because you read that as a 3-5 Kanchan sumo.
I wouldn't have. Yeah, I forget about these things. It's one of those subtle foo counting
I'd pause
deals.
because I'm like, I know this upgrades. This has to upgrade. How does it upgrade? Ah, that's how it upgrades. And there's the 7
Well,
for Drew, though. And look,
unfortunate draw for Drew.
Jessa misses the Uda. That would have been just the cherry on top. Full 77 reward for declaring Ricci. But instead, just the 39, still very strong and hits the dealer directly, which means the battle for first is totally up for grabs. And Jessa is totally in contention for that as well.
Pretty strong hand. Well, at least it's better than it's better than it could be. A completed shape, but also some kanchans on the right. Across it, actually a pretty ugly hand. That 1-1-2-2 is just, I hate to see it.
Yeah, could sometimes lead to a fun shoppo later, but the other shapes aren't really strong enough to support it. So
Jessa's hand may be the best of the bunch, and that's not saying much.
yeah, I mean Scott is callable at least, but 1,000 points.
Yeah, Scott's hand has seen some improvements since over the last couple draws.
Drew and Anko now could even think about Sonoko at least.
Boom.
No, we're just gonna go ahead and open up maybe
Calls,
Toy play.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, really forcing it, and I think he's holding this 8-pin because he likes the look of the 8s in the wall since he has so many of the signs.
I think that's fairly smart. I think I would have kept.
Oh.
Well.
Oh. Misses out on the 8-pin.
Yeah, I think what you were saying made a lot of sense, though.
Yeah, and this is a
would
really
have been a good play.
Really interesting spot. You get to pick your Tonki. Oh, just had an opportunity to deal in there, but plays efficiently, holding, discarding one of the so shapes so that she can still chi, and thus avoids dealing it. Yeah, Scott has his choice. I wonder if he'll swap to Dora Tonki for Mungan. If he draws it. Of course.
It would be for E10.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Hellweight Fudi 10 Tonki.
not worth it. Not when you've got 5 Uma on the line.
Pay Tonki? Oh, it's twice cut. Amazing. Jessa somehow sensing that the Mon pair is not a good discard.
Boom.
Eden swaps towards Tanyao.
The 2, on the other hand, would be a pretty great weight, I think, here, given the 3 pawn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always like when you're picking your Tonki, you're trying to find something that you think other players will have difficulty using.
Eat.
And holding a tile that's outside of a triplet that is visible on the board is usually a good one.
This reach is...
I want this game to end,
one
Ricci.
left, Kanchan.
Boom.
It's like, I know everyone's going to drop it, so let me wait on it. As long as someone draws it, it will come out.
Boom.
See, Yakuhai Toy 52. Could actually give Scott first if Drew deals in. He obviously can't on the 3-mon. Scott would have to change his weight. But
Oh, if Scott had changed weight there, he would have dealt in to the 6-7 weight.
that's true. Jessa now tempai on that 3-mon 6-pin, so it's too late to change your weight.
Missed opportunity for that too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was already dropped by Jessa. So,
Oh, tempai 4. Eden can choose a Tonki. Picks the correct Tonki. The one that still has outs in the wall and is safe to the recheat. Or at least in theory has outs. We can see the last one's
picks a justified choice of Tonki. All tempai here.
impressive.
Couple missed opportunities at wins there.
Everyone hanging on. And there's a Richi stick in 2 Honba now. That will increase the pressure.
Yeah, this is quite a tight game at this point. So Toyman has 2 Dora, but kind of needs a men's in hand here to use them.
Yeah.
Unless they can pick up one of those Yakuhai pairs.
And
or
now you
Yakuhai is a pair.
right as you say it. Yakuhai found.
That's 6-pin. It's pretty big for Scott. Though Scott's hand has three heads, so needs to be slimmed down a bit.
Jessa kind of making steady progress here. Drew has had excellent shapes. Is overblocked actually. Might even drop 1-mon here.
I think that's right.
Allows him to call for Tanya. Giving yourself 2 drawing pools is pretty strong. When I was at a tournament in Seattle, there's a variant played called KS Mahjong. One of the rules that basically allows you to take any tile from the player on your left, discard pond. And that was so overpowered. And that's essentially what Tanya allows you to do, right? It allows you to take the majority of the discards from the player on your left.
So I don't like the 9-mon cut from Jessa here. It was intentionally causing a headless when you didn't need to. At least that's how I see it.
I imagine Jessa is thinking about moving towards Tanya for callability reasons as well. But okay,
potentially.
Eden has shifted towards Honitsu, going for maximum value.
But you had to drop 2 Dora to get there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Honitsu is worth 2 Han open. Dora is worth, 2 Han when you've got a pair of them. So actually it hasn't really improved the value at all, but
I feel like if you had any other tiles in your hand, this makes a lot of sense. But I'd have to look at the log. I feel like maybe that Dora pair drop may have actually slowed the hand slightly.
Yeah, there's a decent chance it did. But Drew speeding up his hand. They call the 7-pin. And now Ishantat for Tanya Dora 1. Just as well, Ishantat.
This penchant is still plaguing her hand. Senpai for 5-8.
And if Jessa draws the likeliest of tempais, the 8 will be leaving.
Yes.
Soon she may be tempted to even call for K10 just to retain dealership in last. But here it's a tempting call with only 18 draws.
Yeah, there it is. Oh.
But
she's no, we are Tanya.
A winnable hand, not just K10 here.
No, I mean, that makes a lot. I feel like with what's on the board right now, I feel like you can justify.
Sure. I think I would drop the 8-mon there, though, and just hold the temporary tempai on the 7, even though we can't win with it. Just because being tempai is really strong. But she finds tempai anyway.
Tempai.
Avoids dealing in, holding this Dora shape, waiting also on the 5-8, So we could even see a double run, perhaps.
It's possible.
There's a 5-so in the wall. A singular 5-so.
Near miss.
つも
Oh! Jessa finds it.
That's a bit. That's exact. Oh no, 1,000 off. Not exact like.
So oddly enough, Drew actually gains points due to that sumo because now everyone's below 30,000 if the game were to end right here. He gets the bonus
Yeah.
5 points of Uma, despite losing 1,000 points for that sumo.
Drew has routes to Tanya here. Jessa has more. Might be able to get Itsu, but probably just has Hatsu whatever here.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah. The 1-2 makes most sense here. And Boyman's hand, 3 heads and not a whole lot else. Well, no, 2 like. It's still a couple steps
2.5.
away.
Yeah. Interesting call from Jessa on the 7-mon. Maybe trying to allow herself a Tanyao path, even if she doesn't get the Hatsu, and says, if I do get the Hatsu, I can easily find a pair somewhere later. But now sort of limited in options.
Yeah, I feel like this is more aggressive than I would say is advisable. Because, well, it's not that I don't think that Jessa should be pushing for a win. It's more that you're leaving yourself kind of exposed without a plan.
Yeah, there's some potential draws that look good, but turn out to be a little bit difficult to handle. Like, if you draw the 6-so, or even this 3-so, you're like, I'm Tenpai, but I can't win.
Right.
And the shapes that were in hand for the majority of this, like from the start, were excellent shapes.
Yes.
So you can anticipate being able to draw tiles you need to find Tenpai yourself without relying on calls. But that doesn't mean Jessa is out of it here. Really just still looking for the Hatsu. And if the 6-so comes out, she can even Shi that, cut the Hatsu, and then draw any other inside tile and wait for Tanyao.
True.
She could even theoretically draw the 7-so, Khan, and then Rinshan. Oh no, the 7-so.
So yeah,
Alright, 7-mon's.
We're anticipating the 3-6 wait here right now. Okay.
Alright, so Jessa found exactly what she was looking for. 3-6-so.
That's entirely held. Wait. Yes.
You're right. Does anyone look like they're cutting one? Maybe Drew.
Drew might, if he can get a pawn, might go. Actually, probably will choose the not Otozuke wait option.
Right. Because if he drops the 2-so, okay, here we go. And it's just waiting on the 4-so, and he has pretty 10 chances. Yeah, this is the natural cut, but deal in, and Jessa has gone from 4th to 1st in her last dealership. When you have a dealership, you have a chance. Just proving that in this game. And this Haipai is 2 away from Tenpai. Kanchan, but still viable. On the right, bit of a slower
Anybody
hand.
else have a fast hand?
Maybe Scott has a callable hand.
Scott can call.
We've seen Scott discarding these Honor Dora very early on, very consistently too. So this might be part of his strategy. Just don't let an Honor tile slow you down, even if it's Dora.
Potentially. Okay, the 1.
We saw Eden call across the table. We might see another Honitsu shift.
That's what it's looking like.
But at this point, if Eden wins 1,000 points, that's first. Because there's 4 Honba. An extra 1,200 in the pot.
That makes a big difference on a table that's this tight.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and this is insanely tight of a score line. It's basically like you're at the East 1. Scores are too close.
Just about. So that should get pawned here.
Does not.
Oh, no, we're going... We don't need that south.
Maybe Scott's planning to stay close, go for like a Tanya Ricci. Even cutting south-south.
Could be.
Shinten.
I'm not sure the 7 is my favorite cut there.
It's
Eat.
technically a little less efficient. Wow, Drew the first attempt. I'd kind of been forgetting about his hand because it looked really difficult to put together, but he finds Tempai first. Slams the Ricci on the 3-mon. Ricci Nomi. It will be enough to claim first place. 1 3-mon in the wall. And now that Jess is in the lead, she's like, you know what? Maybe I can just play defensively.
Boom.
Scott will call. And that is Ishantam. Finds the 6-mon. That's not the one that deals in.
Boom.
Oh, and now Scott has a tempo that doesn't involve dropping the 3-mon. Oh, but he drops it anyway. And that will end the game.
Must have misread the shape.
Yeah, cutting the 4 or the 7 would have been Tempai, waiting on 360. Ricci Nomi is enough for Drew, though. 18 points in first place. Jessa climbs all the way back from 4th with 4 dealer repeats. 6.4 points for her in second. Edith will take the minus 5.2. Scott, minus 19.2. Very tight game all throughout. I don't think anyone got below 20,000 points or above 37,000.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And so standings briefly update. And the first game of this evening is complete. But we've got more to come. I'm seeing around the league, there's an A1 series that's also playing, set to start very soon.
I think that makes sense.
So let's share the love and swap divisions. We're hoping to catch as many divisions as possible tonight. After A1, there are a couple different more happening. Let's see, who do we have in this game?
It's like Max, Will, Jonathan, and Kevin.
Max, Will, Jonathan S.
Yes.
And Kevin N. Sweet. Got everyone updated. And the game's just about to go live. We are live.
Ah. Good timing.
Okay, and this is actually game 2 of their Session 6 series. Maybe you could pull up the result for the first one. Of course, if anyone tuning in is not aware, you can always check out the results as they happen live on the website, AmericanRicci.org. Just go to the A1 League, and you can see the games as they complete, the scores, and even the logs to see exactly what happened.
So, for the first game of this table tonight, Max got first with a 20 plus 23.5. Will a second with 9.5. Jonathan with the third with -7, and Kevin with a -26. Looks like it was relatively quick, 23-minute game. Only 8 hands.
Yeah, I suspect that will be the case for the majority of the games today. right now in A1 division, Simon is in such a big advantage. It's going to be difficult for anyone to catch up. So these players are playing to avoid demotion. And Jonathan and Will were in the most precarious of positions, but
Chi.
Will looks like he got positive points in that game, so he should be relatively safe moving forward. And Kevin is going to be trying, either playing all out for the biggest, value hands possible, or playing just a standard game given his position in the standings.
So Will can take either an
Each.
Intotsu weight here or a Pinfu weight if he drew into the So shape, but deciding whether or not he wants to fight for this hand and decides no.
Yeah, I think he was really tempted to cut the Sotogawa 7 so, but said, you know what,
Thought about it.
right? Would have been.
Would have been Tenpai right here.
Yep. The 7 Mon doesn't look particularly appealing as a discard against this Ricci, so it's certainly understandable to play this way. And again, Will's goals here in this game are
Don't.
don't do anything too volatile. Like winning points is great, losing points is not great.
Yeah.
So let's try to not lose points.
The statistics say something like a dealer round is plus 500 EV on average, but it isn't that if you just go ahead and eat into a Ricci, so.
Right. Oh, looks like I tried moving screens too quickly, so we'll refresh that. And Kevin did get the win on that 3 so. So we'll take a look at Jonathan.
Okay. Looking pretty good, but for a cheap hand here. But as dealer, you take it if you can. Interesting. Max's hand, Chitoi Ishanten. And he looks like he is committing to that Chitoi already.
I mean, when you have a pair of your favorite talent, it's Dora. How could you not?
That does help, yes. Kevin looks like just calling for Shaw only. And Will, regular looking closed hand with a penchant that probably isn't going to be the one that wins here.
Yeah, unless he draws a 3 so very soon. Should be challenging to get the win. With a con,
considering calling for Tanyo.
Yeah.
Does call. But eats up some of his weight.
Oh, Max, no. Just cut the Hatsu and immediately draws it back. And, would have been Tenpai on this Hellweight East that was drawn by Will. Would have had a very good chance of coming out. But alas, it was not meant to be. And now Max not Chitoi, it's Ishanten for not just Chitoi, but also just a normal hand.
Just a normal hand. Some clever maneuvering happening over in that hand.
And that's why he retained the 6-pin over the Hatsu.
Right. Tenpai for a 7-pin for dealer here. For 1 Han 50 Fu.
Love to see
whatever
it.
That is his dealer.
Should be 2,400. Oh, Kevin will drop out that 7.
Or 40, sorry. I forget.
Oh, because it was open.
Only 16. Yep.
So yeah, 150 is 24, but 140, just the 2,000. Johns will take it. Steal back some of those points that he gave up early, and ooh.
Most open hands have some other Fu source than just the one group, so.
Yeah. I mean, it was really close to being 50. There was the 16 from the Khan, there was the 2 from the Kanchan. But no Anko.
Right.
Anko would have done it. Kevin, on the other hand, like, really juicy Honitsu building here. If he can pair up some of these honor tiles, like all of these honors are Yakuhai except for the one that is paired up.
Right. Yeah, as it stands, this is looking to be potentially Bakahon. which, you know, not the greatest value, but
Hey, is that what we're looking for? Also has all 4 of the 5 so that makes these other hands that want so blocks really awkward. Max's 3/4 shape all of a sudden is just a penchant. Now wheels 6/6/7 can only accept the 8.
Boom.
that's true.
Ah, there we go. Just took a call.
Ah.
Change the flow. Here, there's an East Yakuhai. It looks like he might be planning to con even.
That's what that 7 cut suggests to me. Yeah. Otherwise, that 7 is quite useful.
And certainly if you're planning to go big or go home, conning is a great way to go big.
Okay. What? We are going toy Dora Tanki. I'm
Yeah,
not
like
sure
like a
what the
toy
plan
toy
is
or a
here.
chi toy with Dora or Suanko. You're kind of positioned to dream of Yakuman if you have a chance at one. Like here, you have a legitimate shot at Suanko. I mean, as close to Suanko as you
I
could expect to
I
get.
am okay. So
Boom.
now,
Ooh, Dora Puln.
yeah, that's spooky. Not quite Tempai.
And this 8 pin looks so good against Max, but it actually would help him out. Oh
Boom.
no, the 8-mon comes out instead.
That's right.
It's 2/5, so it's one in the wall. we said it was gonna be problematic. Okay, well, Swiss your Sabo for surely.
Switch.
Because the 8-pin looks so good, and Jonathan's in big trouble right now. Jonathan doesn't have to drop it yet. He can still, hope to draw it himself and go for some type of his own Suanko.
Are we gonna see the combo before this ends so Max can like laugh a little bit to himself?
Feel rewarded.
Yeah.
6-pin should still be safe. Yeah, Will as well. Gotta worry about the South. Gotta worry about the Haku. This could be anything. Okay, Haku's gonna pass. 3-pin's gonna pass. So a couple more safe tiles for Will. Jonathan can also cut the 3-pin now. And the Haku. We're all drawing the same stuff. I think we're gonna go to Ryukyoku unless the Forso are out.
No.
So
Kevin does not want to drop these Mon tiles against Max here.
Kang.
Khan flips the 2-pin to be Dora, but that's not relevant. Okay,
Khan.
Khan? No! Didn't get there. To Ryukyoku we go.
What an interesting round that was.
What a fantastic round. That was excellent. And I gotta say, well played by the 2 players who were holding the 8-pin to not discard what looked like an incredibly safe tile against what Max
Boom.
was showing there. And we did end up seeing that Khan. It's very funny. Okay, Max opens up with double tone, has a Dora shape as well, looking for a 3-pin. On the right, bit of a messy hand, but could turn into Pinfu if the 3 so is drawn. Across the table, hello pairs. Also has a
Oh wow.
Suanko chance. We're Chitoi Ishanten. We're Suanko 2 Shanten. We're just gonna keep calling Suanko until one shows up.
I guess so.
And then Jonathan aiming for a Ricci most likely on the left.
Max one away from Pon, or is in has Pon 10 potential here on his favorite tile.
Yeah, can't possibly lose. We see Will definitely hedging a vertical hand. Triplets. Has he had the opportunity to call anything yet? I'm not seeing the Chun or the South or the 8 or the 3. So yeah, hasn't had the chance to call. I'm very curious if he will. Play for Toy Toy.
This might be the 9-pin first, so we don't see the Pon just yet.
That's Chitoy Tempai. One so looks kind of okay. He might just Ricci this.
I think no.
Okay, gonna wait for something better than one so.
Oh, it's because So looks bad against
Boom.
his.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
true. But the one player that looked like they couldn't use the one so did end up dropping it, and Will just take the points.
If he had dropped it one turn earlier, it would have been Max's pawn and not, yeah.
Right. Kind of interesting there, situationally. I think one other reason that Will didn't want to Ricci is that he doesn't have to. Like, if he Ricci's, he's vulnerable. But if he Damas, he could just win the hand, send us, move us forward to the next round. He could be safe. And right now in his season, safety
Boom.
is very important.
I think if One-So hadn't looked so
Gee.
weird against his pawn, he might have Ricci'd anyway, but I guess,
Yeah.
just a hypothetical. So
Okay, we're seeing more open hands. Kevin,
Gee.
of course, opening to retain his dealership. Gonna try to retain it for as long as possible. And Will aiming for a 789 Sanchoku. Nice filled tempai already for dealer.
yeah, great draw. Max probably not anticipating that so soon, but does not throw the 5 yet because it's a actually because blocks.
Yeah, it's useful to his own hand. Will considering taking the headless says no. I prefer this. Headless not as strong when you need your 8-9 pin to be an 8-9 a 7-8-9 sequence, and you can't accept drawing the 8 pin to be your back pair. So this makes sense. Oh, Max is due to deal in soon.
Yeah, Max is in some trouble now.
I wonder if he recognizes the speed of Kevin given the 9-9 so cut.
Wow.
In the meantime, Jonathan approaching Toy Tempai.
Gee.
Or Tanyo. Tanyo Tempai is good too.
Actually, at this point, when it first happened, I would have assumed that maybe somebody wouldn't suspect Tenpai, but now I'm sure he does.
Oh, the Tuso is not useful. We'll start with the 4, so that passed not too long ago, although upon finding Tempai, I'd imagine we'll just jam the Tuso.
Dong.
Deal into the Tanyo Nomi. And that's fine. The only player that's really sad about this
not
is
a big
Kevin.
deal. This is a pretty unfortunate hand.
Yeah. You can tell just by the amount of time it took for Will to make the first discard. Doing a quick, Kokushi count and trying to see, is there a plan that involves using this Dora?
Cheetoy, is it time from Cheetoy from 2 pairs?
Yeah, 2.5. Dora always counts as half a pair. Oh, maybe it is. 3.5.
We've got a very pawnable hand across the way now. Oh, we don't have to commit to it yet.
Just a quick scan across the board. Not seeing anything super thrilling from anybody here.
Starting to not look so much like Cheetoy anymore.
Yeah, after feeling Kanchan 4-0, 6-0, all of a sudden your hand looks great.
Well, that was quite a series of draws we had there.
Just when you thought the hand was over, now
this
it's
should be 4 pin. Yeah, you set up the Shabo and
Gee.
it's pretty. Even with one shot out, it's pretty.
Oh no! Now you have to decide. Okay, Sha. This is technically wider because we can accept the 3-mon into Tempai, but 3-mon being twice cut means it's not even a very good draw.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a good draw in terms of the Ishanten, not as a Tempai.
Boom.
I'm unsure about this.
Boom.
Okay, Max has found the path to Honitsu. Jonathan towards Tanya, and there's the 3 for Stama. So if you win Ipeco Door 2 as dealer, that's insane, 5,800 points. But you're not anticipating winning. What you're anticipating doing is drawing, 5-mon and slamming a Ricci, or 2-mon and slamming a Ricci.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Even the Shabo Ricci that you get from the 1-mon draw is still fine because it waits on Dora. I guess this one's got Dora.
リーチ
Okay, we'll take this Kanchan.
スモ
Oh, doesn't matter. Jonathan will shut it down with another Tanya only.
Good call on using the 3-mon though. I don't have like that play seemed pretty remote in my mind, but that's the way it ended up going. So
Yeah, you're really
Boom.
not expecting to draw it because there's only 2 in the wall. But then, of course, no one else is holding it. You're the only one who can, so they're probably in the wall, which means you're going to draw it, and then have to look at your hand as if it's Ishanten.
nothing particularly exciting here. Kevin's got a pretty callable hand, and Will has already called with a pretty fast-looking hand here. Is
チ
This chi implies that he's not going to be able to use the Dora, and he might even
yeah, I was just saying that's the thought was like I'm basically cutting the Dora by calling this.
He might even be considering, like, do I just drop the Dora immediately after the call like this to just get it out of the hand right now? But right now, playing the more standard way, which is saying I can draw a second Dora and use it as my pair.
チ
Patempai, 2-pin, and we have our 2/5 mon wait for Haku only.
2 is gone, but that 5 is quite live. Kevin sensing danger though.
Yeah, naturally, player with 3 calls
Boom.
and a Dora cut. Very typically Tempai.
ロン
Again, we can't afford to play too safe. We'll just deal in for 1,000. So this is what Mahjong looks like when 4 players are incentivized to end the game as soon as possible. Call, 1,000. It's very fast. It's actually kind of pretty to watch players playing for maximum efficiency and just watching all these hands come together at the same time.
Okay, 4 pairs for Max.
4 pairs for Kevin.
ポン
789 Sancho for Will, potentially. Also holding this 5-pin to accept the Dora.
I feel like the game is just telling Kevin you might as well go for Toy Toy with his hand.
Yeah, every hand has been the Toy type from the Hype. Lots of pairs, lots of difficult to use pairs like this 1-1-2-2. We've mentioned it, or you mentioned it before in the C1 game.
Ah, but it's nice now.
Yeah, when you're going for Toy, it's great. If you can call the 2-pin first, and the 1-pin becomes an easy call later. And even if the 1-pin comes first, it's still a little bit harder to use the 2-pin. Max draws into a very nice looking Ishanten here. Can get Ipeko on either side, whether he draws around this 3-so or the 7-so. And there's a world where
Yeah,
if he draws a Sotel, he just gets 3-pin.
This is a very interesting Kutsuki because of that.
I really am
Boom.
looking forward to seeing Max draw Sotel just to see what he chooses to do. Does he full greed? Or does he take the Richi? And then he draws something like 5-so, right?
Right, not that so tile.
Literally any other Sotel would be useful.
リーチ
No, it just takes the Richi. And perhaps the fact that a player has opened twice is influencing the decision a bit, but Richi Yakuhai is very strong. And just
yeah,
like
this is a pretty clear move.
just like in the other hand that we saw, there is the bonus fu on the 8-so sumo. Because you can treat that as a kanchan. A lot of times, I look for that bonus fu opportunity if my fu count adds up to 10. I'm like, okay,
that's a good way to look at it.
we've got a Yakuhai triplet 8. My sumo, it's 10. Man, 10 is so close to upgrading. If only there was some way to interpret this hand that would give it 2 extra fu. Oh, wait. Kanchan sumo. That works. Oh, Tempai for Jonathan. Takes the 4-7. So Dama. 4-7 itself looks rather dangerous as opposed to the Monzu.
相撲
And rewarded for his choice with the Sumo. No, he put Sumo. Because Jonathan's playing safety Jong here. But
I don't.
I imagine
Maybe I'm just like, I can understand damoing with Yaku there, but I don't. I don't have the safety Zhang mindset of sitting on a two-sided weight Yaku list.
and I guarantee you, if this was a normal round, if this was, the
Yeah, I'm
first
sure.
round of the season, it absolutely would have slammed Arichi there. But, and maybe even for the Mon weight. But,
Come on, give us what we want.
come on, Kevin, for the content. Show us what we've got. Con,
Kevin, the people
con,
pleaser.
con.
Not yet.
Wait. Maybe going for Rinshan, You can fill out your Yaku decks.
I'm for it.
Oh, that's... I feel like you kind of have to con there because you can draw into like Suanko. Just from a score standpoint. But from a go for Rinshan chance, yeah. 6-0 is absolutely correct. Jonathan's hand is kind of spicy with an Anko Dora. Could we see our
that is a pretty spicy hand.
first hand over 2 Han of the evening?
缶
Con into Tempai.
Ah, well, there you go.
リーチ
Slams the wide weight or the value weight? Wide weight.
Probably the wide weight.
Already getting +1 Han to... Oh! +4 Han! I didn't realize those were Dora.
Oh, we...
Okay, that's the way you do it. Con yourself for Dora, slam a Ricci.
That's, yeah, okay. I didn't see that before, like, yeah, then it's obvious, like, not taking the wide weight would just be a mistake then.
Show us the Tsumo, show us the Hanemon. 4 pin completely locked up, but there are 3 7 pins in the wall. And given the fact that the 4s are held, if Kevin had that knowledge, he would have taken the Ipeco weight, cutting the 5 pin. But unfortunately, X-ray vision is not an ability in
The
Pento.
wall having a sense of humor as it generally does.
Yeah, and given the tank into 8 pin discard, you might suspect that the weight is around the 8 pin. That's not necessarily like a hard read that you can make, because it could just be like any bad weight Ricci, and you're wondering, is this really a Ricci I want to take when my, my Dora 4 is on the line?
Yeah, or you could have tried to Rinshan and then, like, drew the 8p as your Rinshan Pai or something.
Right. Oh, there's the 30 pin. Oh, 7 finally found, but that's not going to come out from Will so easily. Does he have anything else to cut first?
Wait, would a Rinshan tile come out? No, it wouldn't, like...
I think the Rinshan tile shows up on the right side of your hand as if it was your draw, so you would be able to
As
tell.
if it... So it would still look like a Sumo Giri.
Right.
Okay, so never mind. So it does
Tempai?
it does still look like it came from the hand, but
That is Tempai. It waits on 2-5, I think. 2-5-7? Yeah.
It's an Intotsu. Yeah, 257.
It's not a very pretty one, but
no, it's not.
Oh, the 7 pin does Jonathan fold. He does. So disciplined.
Chi
And that Chi prevents high Tate Sumo. It wouldn't have mattered. But very, very aware from Max. And Jonathan looks at the hand and says, yep, right decision. I had Dora 3. It doesn't matter if I'm dealing into dealer Hanemon if he flips Una. So Kevin will go back to the drawing board Has some reasonably decent shapes control around this 4-so, particularly with the Dora 3-so. For Will on the right, nothing too fantastic just yet. Across the table, it looks relatively fast for Jonathan, especially finding the pair now. Ishantan, technically.
Ishanten.
Max, very Kanchan, Penchon heavy, so somewhat slow without some very good draws.
Right now, Kevin's got probably the strong. Well, it's between Kevin and Jonathan. Okay. Rianmin for Jonathan now. And Ishanten, but like likely a Shabo for Kevin.
And Shovel's
No.
okay. You can pretty easily improve that.
Okay, actually, well, still likely yeah.
But Will found
And
the fast route.
Will now 3-sided.
Gave up the Dora shape in order to get this 3-sided, and Jonathan drew one of the dealing tiles, but is temp by himself and Dama.
つも
Another round that he normally would just slam the Ricci, but and misses
In the
out.
case where you are like you know, Agari top or whatever they call it. Like where you're the only one over 30k.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize it was all last, so more incentive to Dama even in a normal game, but yeah, here we'll take the win, plus 26.3, maximize 0.8, no change in his stance essentially. Will drops down 7.3, has done well to manage his points so far. Kevin taking the very small fourth. I mean, these games have been so close that the fourth places are better than most thirds, or than a lot of thirds, I should say. So 2 games in the books. Will at a positive 24, still relatively safe.
Yeah, that was another fairly quick game. No, actually, that 240 win was the biggest win of that game.
Funny.
So no more than 20, actually no more than 3,000 points exchanging hands at any one time. The biggest point exchange was the Ryukyoku.
Yeah, we've got a game coming up in the B1 division. That'll be starting in 3 minutes. So we'll probably hop over there next. Maybe take a quick break before that. So I'll see you in about 3 minutes. Welcome
So
back,
here,
everybody. We've got the B1 table all set up. Jay, Amy, Greg, Henry battling it out here. And this game has a lot of, this table rather, a lot of implications in the standings. Henry currently in the relegation zone, attempting to make a dramatic comeback.
I
Greg
think
barely hanging on.
I think Amy is right around the middle. Still has a chance to go up if she does well, if I recall. Or is this game?
I believe this is the first of their series.
This is the first of the, and she is just above positive. So actually, there is quite a bit of, like, there's a reasonable chance that if she does well this table, an extra promotion slots happen, then she's got something to fight for. I guess we put it that way.
Absolutely. And Jay comfortably in second place in the division. Maybe he fights for first place overall. But getting into the game, Jay will be the first dealer. Technically Ishan-ten right now. By now, let's just slam the Ricci, waiting on the door indicator. Ricci +1 applies some pressure to the table. Only one tile left in the wall for this weight. Henry says, it's hard for me to do anything but fight here, so I'm going to fight. Jams to 6. Amy is going to chase immediately with a
chase on Dora only. So Kanchan versus Kanchan.
There are 2 door in the wall versus 1 of the door indicator.
Yeah, actually, Amy's weight looking slightly better than Jay's weight at the moment. And, well, there it is.
That gets some extra food, 1 pin and 6 pin Anko. Of course, the Kanchan weight. So Amy upgrades to 3200, picks up the Ricci stick from Jay, and will hop into the lead. This is a perfect start for her. As you mentioned, that 5th promotion slot. You're actually holding it right now, plus 65.3. So she has at least to target you, but if there's a bonus promo slot, Kayla's also around this plus 65 region. So her goal is to, maybe be around 50, 60, 70 points at the end of the series. Certainly achievable in 4 games.
That would at least get you in the running.
We see Amy opening up quickly on the right for the Haku. Will be most likely Haku only, unless she can pair up a couple of the East Wind Dora, but that's already come out once by Henry here. Henry and the dealer seat with a very flexible hand for Tanya, maybe Pinhu, maybe even 3, 4, 5 Sanjaku. That's why he was so willing to cut the Dora early on. I like the pass. These shapes are too good.
Yeah, I would not have felt great about that call.
Amy will call into Tenpai, waiting currently on the 9-mon, but again, we mentioned there's the possibility that she draws a Dora, and Tonk is on that instead. Ooh, could be 3-sided for Henry here.
I do think this should be 9-pin.
Definitely the most efficient cut. There is a small world where you're thinking, can I get 7, 8, 9 Sanjaku here? And it's just not realistic given that you have such good drawing potential into a Ricci Pinfu, maybe even Ricci Pinfu Tanyao with the current shapes. So no need to be too greedy. Across the way, Ishan-ten for Greg. And Jay might be building towards Chitoy.
Wait, upgrade for Amy. Kind of upgrade.
A sort of upgrade.
So it barely.
There's only 2 tiles in the wall versus the 2 that were previously there for the 9-mon. But she, of course, can see that players really don't want the 1-so right now. So if they draw it, it will probably come out. Even if there's only 1 of those left in the wall. Nope, there's that Doritaki we were talking about. And she will...
Yeah, I think that's a well-justified weight swap.
Henry takes a look.
7 might look a little spooky against that hand.
Yeah. Between cutting the 5-so or the 7-so. The 7-so is 1 cut already, so it's more efficient to discard that. Okay, decides to take a different route. Still Diamond Ishan-ten, but the 6-so gives you Ipeko now. So sacrifices a little bit in efficiency for the sake of potentially grabbing some more value.
That's true.
Maybe that's the right play given his position in the standings.
That's true. I don't think that's a play I would have made, but I can see the merit in it.
リーチ
See Greg fighting, of course, has a very uh, spirited fighting style of mahjong, and he needs points. So going to slam the Ricci, waiting on the 5 mon, the last 5 mon for Ricci Peiko. Greg, or rather Henry, missing out on Tempai. So we're looking for 1 east, 1 5 mon, and then Henry to be able to find Tempai. Really amazing. He hasn't seen a 6-9 mon yet, but all the 9 mon have been drawn by other players around the table. I would call this for sure.
It should be a K10 call, I think.
Finds Tempai anyway. He feels comfortable jamming 7, so he does. South live, it looks like it is. And of course, Greg holding a pair. He says, my hand is worth it. I'll fight. It passes. 3 players, Tempai. I believe the last east wind was in the dead wall. So go again, Henry. Haku is callable. 5 Sodora to draw around. But he's got, blocks everywhere else. So see how this hand develops.
Yeah, I think we should see the penchant
Home.
cut and the Dora keep.
Home.
There's 2 penchants to cut. I mean, you just pick one.
Probably the 9-8, because if you backfire drawing the 7, at least
7, you can still use it. Yeah.
Jay also opening up on the left for fast
Nice. Nice draw. That's what he wants.
That's beautiful. Now that when this 3-mon leaves Jay's hand, he'll be Tempai. That's what you tell yourself as dealer. At any second, my opponents will discard the perfect tile. I will be able to win.
What else is going on around the table here?
Amy.
Amy's hand
Pandora
looks
as well.
okay. Oh yeah.
So
Draws into so
we could see
shapes are a bit awkward though. They're
Right.
pretty awkward.
There's 1 2 2 3. She's probably gonna read it as like a 2 2 3 5 and move towards top.
That's what I would have assumed.
But
Yeah.
after drawing this 4, we'll go back to just standard shapes. So to call for Henry here, just throws it back.
Where's the one? I think I would. Where would you have cut there?
Ooh,
I think I would. My instinct is 2 mon and assume I'm a component.
yeah,
the
that's
one.
justifiable. I think the 6 back is
Standard.
kind of okay too.
It's okay. Yeah.
Because we already have 2 pairs.
地
Well, I wouldn't have got that chi. So.
Oh, and it gets the see. This is the what you're really hoping for by throwing the 6 back is that you draw the 5, you get your Pon or your chi, and you just have the perfect Tempai. And this has gone all according to plan for Henry. 4-7 mon weight has 4 in the wall too. Quite nice.
リーチロン
He'll find it
And
from
there it
Greg.
is.
Greg drew the wrong tile into Tempai, and that means it'll be 5,800. Plus those sticks in Homba. Henry started off well. This high pie.
This high pie is.
It's something.
Yeah,
it's got blocks.
The blocks technically exist.
You could treat it as a 7 block hand. If you separate the 1 2 and the 2 4 as 2 blocks, and the door as its own block.
7 block theory.
That's right.
Just every hand cheat toy now. You ruined your cheat toy.
Yeah, tough hand for Henry to play. There are worlds where he can shift this into Tanya with something like a 5-pin draw. That would be ideal. 3-pin really helps in so many ways.
Oh, now this hand's suddenly just looking pretty normal and okay.
Yeah.
So
Next best hand, probably across the table for Greg. 2 away from Tempai. With Tanya shapes and maybe Richie Pinfu as well. Jay's callable with the East, but the shapes could use some help. Naturally, we draw the 3-mon after cutting away from the pension.
Yeah, I guess maybe with these shapes you don't want the furry 10 joint.
Yeah, you could argue for like 2-pin and say, if I draw the 4-mon, I can play for Sanchoku, but because that Sanchoku isn't guaranteed, I think it's fine to just play it.
Yeah, I would probably choose the same thing.
Oh, 3-pin that we desperately want. It's sad to see 2 of them come out.
Yeah.
And now our perspective of the pin block is changing rapidly.
Right.
That draw.
Okay.
Big save. And we said there was a Tanya route at the 5-pin.
So now it could just be Tanya, yeah. In fact, that may, if I do not like that at all.
Yeah, the reason we would cut 5-mon here is to go full Chinitsu.
I have thoughts.
It's definitely not the most efficient route, but again, Henry is playing to a very specific condition, which is pick up 100 points in 4 games. A dealer Chinitsu is worth a lot. He also probably likes the idea. I would hold that one. Okay, now I would go back to the Tanya plan.
No, commits. This is a hard Chinitsu commit from. It's a real Hail Mary, I guess we'll put it that way.
The thing for Henry is if he's going Shinitsu, he needed one more block, so that extra 8-pin could have given him an upper pin block. But cutting that loses that chance, and drawing back to the Diamond, I think, is like a good chance to go back towards normality.
Possible San Anko for Jay. East still in the wall.
Wow. Eye for the Tsumo. And he finds it!
Oh my god.
Ura-san! Due to the con.
This is the kind of luck Jay's had this season.
But you know what? Jay's probably not even thinking about it. He's like, man, if I didn't Richi and kept that 3-so, I'd be Suanko Tempai.
Look, he's already had enough Yakuman this season.
I seem to recall a Daisangan.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's a reason I'm 50 points lower in the standings than I could be.
Jay has had an excellent season. It'll be very exciting to see him play in A2 next time around. Amy going
Great
to
call for Amy. No other value in this hand as of yet, though.
Yeah.
Or no, quick call for Greg, sorry.
Oh, I see. Just South Holden currently, and it's Tempai. Going with the Shabo. Technically a worse weight.
This is a pretty rough Shabo.
Right. Immediately a worse weight, but he plans to improve it. There are a million Mondraws that will give him a better weight, and of course he can improve to diameter around the 5-pin as well. So accepting.
So it looks like. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if we have a lot. Well, we have a potential 79 for Henry, but right now it looks like we just got dueling cheap hands.
Of course, Amy
actually
with a cheap hand can repeat, so has some extra incentive to just win. For Greg, this might be more of like damage control before the dual ship. The 5-pin does come out.
I was just about to say, I feel like Henry is just gonna like do like a Junchan shift or whatever and deal into this crappy weight.
Yeah, and so this is what Greg's looking for. He said 20K is not great, but he didn't lose any points on Amy's dealership. He got it to pass quickly. Now he's on his own. What can we do with our dealership? Hand looks kind of promising. The 8-9 Mon Penchon is probably the weakest shape in my mind, but we're Ishantan.
And we Sanshoku.
We can Sanshoku, that's
It
true.
can. It's gonna either take a shift or another specific draw here.
Okay, relatively okay shapes. Adora. Henry cross table Ishantan. Kutsuki can draw a shape around the 4-pin or 6 so.
Interesting draw. Yeah, I guess cutting the 8-9 makes sense here.
Yeah, I hated that shape to begin with, and he's still
1
trying to retain the Dora acceptance. Instead, though, Henry will draw the
Right.
3-pin into Riichi Pinfu with potential Dora if the 2-pin comes out.
That one. Well, I guess Greg wants to fight, so
Although I think the best route to fighting then is with the 9-mon, because you can then draw the Dora into Tempa. Oh no!
yeah, I think you're right. It should have been the 9 first.
I mean, it's difficult to jam the 3-pin, but as dealer with Riichi Pinfu Dora, it's an easy slam if you get there. I mean, you're not expecting to actually
Yeah.
fill the Dora. Could you possibly be that lucky? Now, Greg has a tough choice to make. Goes with a 6-pin. It looks like he's planning to
Oh.
Riichi with the Dora itself.
Oh, that's really unfortunate.
It's justifiable in this spot, but it's really unfortunate that's going to deal in if he ever
Yeah,
gets a
the
Tempai.
9, the one before the 9 really kind of ended up biting him.
There are alternate routes though. He could just plan to discard 3-pin, which is Suji, and try to Tonki the Dora later. Like call for Tanyao with Dora Tonki. That would be the safe way to go about it. But here we go. Tempai.
Well, we're about to
Each.
see.
Slams it.
Yeah.
4
Henry will accept. Reach Pinfutora. Uda as well for the Mungan.
That mistake really punished quite brutally there.
Yeah, I know when I make mistakes like that, and it's happened quite a bit this season, unfortunately. My mind gets stuck on, if I dropped the 9, then I would have drawn the 2, Riichi the 3, I would have Tsumo the 4, I would have Riichi Tsumo Pinfutora, I could have hit Uda as dealer, so on. So like these thoughts are running through your head. Gotta find a way to shut those out and play that next hand.
缶
Speaking
Right.
of playing the next hand, Jay, what an insane Hypai cons the West for an extra Han essentially, and has Honitsu
Yeah.
or just Satsu.
I feel like if you weren't so comfortable in your
Home.
like point position, this probably would be a Honey-2 force.
Right. And honestly, Jade can play for Honitsu anyway, just because he's so comfortable in his points position, he can do whatever he wants.
Chooses
Home.
to just take a potential like wait,
Currently 36 Fu,
third
so goes up to 60, so 2 and 60.
Yeah, so 3. That's actually not. That's pretty significant as dealer still. That's not-
5,800 is
not
quite
terribly
good,
cheap.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if he gets a Dora as well, that's essentially Mongon.
It's weird to think that this is a 5,800 point hand, but it is.
Terminal Con, Yakuhai Con,
Yeah.
it's powerful. Oh, decides.
Oh, here we
We're
go.
going back. We're going for it all.
I can kind of see
Reach.
Mongon like with that draw. Like, why not Mongon? Honestly.
Maybe. Oh, there's the Dora, and now he's sad because he had Mongon. But he did get the 5 so out in time. Not going to deal into Amy just yet. And he can be relatively confident that it's not a lower pin weight, because Amy dropped the door so early.
Right.
for Greg. The 2-pin did come out from Jay. Henry, so tempted to call that in Tempai, but would, or actually I guess it would be Ishanten, so not a good call at all. Good pass, good pass. And he's playing, ooh. 7-mon's kind of suspicious here, but it's hard to fold here. He has 3-so, 7-so, and some like Naka
Decides
4-so.
not to push the 7-mon for headless.
Curious the 7-pin is the choice though. Maybe just decides
Yeah,
that
that doesn't particularly look safe either.
maybe thinking if Amy's willing to cut, these pin tiles when the door up,
ドン
then the pin might be safe, but Uchiura, another 3,200 for Amy. Killing it with the food
Greg.
here.
Greg hurting this game.
Yeah, still
This is not the game he needed.
just game 1. If he can minimize damage, we've seen Greg pop off in other games as well, with Yakumans, just like repeated dealerships. So we definitely know that he can run things back for sure. And he will have the final dealership in this game. That always gives you a chance. We saw that in the first game of the night in C1. Jessa coming back from 4th in her dealership to temporarily take the lead and end up with a 2nd place overall.
Nobody's hand here looking particularly fantastic, though. Jay's hand is might just call for Tanya Dora too, and in fact, I can't see any other any way to play the hand like
Home.
at this point. So
Henry did find the 2nd Yakuhai pair, so he will just open up for potentially double Yakuhai as dealer. East and Hatsu.
Home.
And right into Tenpai.
Tenpai.
Now, here's a question. In this spot, if you draw something like 1 pin, will you drop 2, 3, 4, Toy Toy?
From Henry's position, yeah, I think. Well,
Oh,
honestly, I think you weight switch there if you're given the opportunity.
yeah, I think
This
so
Shabo,
too.
this Shabo, I mean, for no extra value, it just kind of sucks.
I guess if you'd sumo, you get bonus food, but that's only a little bit of value.
I think not weight switching there was a mistake.
Yeah, and the fact that he didn't weight switch makes me wonder if he really is actually planning to switch to Toy Toy. Like maybe he pawns here instead of calling wrong.
Maybe.
No, that discard is very quick, so maybe he's got other plans.
Well, that one would be Furry 10.
Right.
So
It looks like he's just locked in on this weight. We do have Ishanten across the way for Greg. And Jay's hand has 2 Dora, but still Ishanten.
yeah, still waiting. And Henry's got 2 of that tile he needs, and he's not gonna be able to cheat that. So
Yeah, Greg could not catch a break. That 4-so did nothing for him. And because Henry took the Shabo weight instead, it deals it.
yeah, right.
You look at the pond, you look at the game after, it's like, why were you even on this weight? But it won. So Henry picking up the 2,900 takes the lead. And at first place will go a long way towards accomplishing his goal. Amy, really thinking about this Haku, decides to take it. Oh, it draws a door. This is good. So 2,000 points plus Honba will put her very close to the lead, and she still has her dealership. If the hand is strong enough, you kind of don't want to call and try to slam a Ricci, but I think maybe she evaluated her shapes as just weak enough to be willing to accept even the first Haku and not wait for the second. So this is Tenpai for 2,000 points, waiting 2-5 Mon, 4 in the wall, 4 held by Greg. Greg, oh, he might dream of
Kang.
going vertical with Suanko. And
That con was very like not really any hesitation
oh yeah,
there.
Henry has a plan, and that's create value for himself. And if he draws a Forso, he will have done so successfully. But in the meantime, that's not possible because Forso's all drawn around the table. Greg, in fact, holding a pair increases the value of his hand significantly. And no, the temptation to wait on this content is super strong. Could start with the 8 so. In fact, just throws it back. Says, I like the efficiency of my current blocks. Not going to greed this shot at Dora, and ends up being a very good decision.
7
4
Oh! Just as Greg found Suanko Ishanten, Jay calls it the Tenpai and will deal in. Amy, the beneficiary of that con as well, picks up a second Dora and a cool 3,900 plus Homba. That means that she has now taken over second place. It's a very tight race
本
for the top here for first.
Home. Home.
This hand is. I mean, I guess you would watch out for. You play it normally, but you watch out for Chitoy, I guess. 2 calls already though. On the table, you see those 2 drops and you're thinking maybe flush. You're maybe not expecting to see a mess in the rest of the hand, but no, that draw is not bad.
I guess, yeah, Greg's the farthest along here. By far. It's not even close. Jay's got a really spicy hand. But
Home.
shapes aren't amazing.
Calling the 2 from a 1-2-2-3 is like, I get why. It's just kind of funny.
It's amazing. It definitely is creating value.
Yeah, I mean, Greg needs to use these Dora. Like, the Ariane men with the Dora is the goal, so. Problem is, where are the other 3s?
Yeah, pair heavy hands.
Jay's got one.
And a lot of players have responded to that by calling for triplets.
I think that if Greg really needed this Ariane shape, I think maybe cutting the 4-mon was not the play.
No, this is a Tenpai that involves dropping the Dora, and Greg says no. No, thank you. I like my
Yeah,
Dora.
no, I agree. I think. Henry kind of feeling his way toward Honitsu Toy.
Greg just refused Tenpai. He says this is Toy or nothing.
Oh, wow.
So it misses out on the, well, I guess that'd be 3,900 point run. Says I need more than just 3,900. That is
I guess
aggressive.
that's the unfortunate place you find yourself in if you've been just getting hammered all game.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if that's the advisable play, but I can certainly understand it. Oh, Khan! Jay says this game wasn't exciting enough.
I guess not.
Reveals the 6-mon, which amazingly is not used by anybody. Even Henry, the
Even
Honitsu
Henry,
player.
yeah.
Home.
All right, Toy Tenpai found with the Dora. It's a Hanemon now, or I guess that's not Yakuhai, is it? So it's
No, still Mangan.
suddenly everything makes sense to me. I thought that was a Yakuhai. I didn't even look at the tiles, and I said, he could have roamed. There was no roan. It was Toy from the beginning. That was the only Yaku that was present.
Oh, I totally missed it too.
I was like, of course he called his wind. There's nothing to think about here.
I just did like.
Chat's probably going crazy. Like, what are you guys talking about?
We just like the call was so soon. We just assumed that was the only possible play, like reason you'd call like that.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Actually, looking at the tiles helps. Now, the 3-mon is only once walled for Greg. That's the only weight he's got in the wall. Henry has...
Henry kind of struggling with this weight. Are the Wests are both dead, that's why.
Yeah. Hatsu, though, isn't that live?
Kang.
I think
Con.
so.
Did not find Tempai. Kind of a nice con there. Give yourself a chance at Tempai. I would have just cut the West, though, as the last discard. Because Tempai was not found. But yeah, you don't have a draw again, so you might as well con and get a reroll. Get a rebuy for Tempai. And that will send us into all last, Greg's last dealership. And we'll see if we've got a run back. This hand looks kind of decent. The awkward bit is that we've got a singleton of the Yakuhai Dora, or not the Yakuhai, the West Dora. I was just on the Ricci. I think you can make a really good argument to just cut away from Tempai, like the 7-so or something.
Yeah, it's early enough that I think you can fish for a better weight here.
And play for Dortanki.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that should have been the play there.
And of course, there's the other perspective of a dealer, early dealer Ricci puts so much pressure on the table. Although that being said, Henry does not care. He's like, early Ricci, I'm jamming everything. 7-so, 7-pin, 3-pin. I can't defend, so I might as well just push. And he's pushing for Chinitsu in the Manzu.
There is.
Jay thinking about calling this for Tanyao. Cut 2-so, and then maybe jam the 3-so later. Amy went so far as to break Ipatsu, but no further than that currently. Now the 6-so is live in the wall. There are 3 of them. Uh-oh. Well, I think I know how this hand is going to end. Let's see if Henry can hold off.
Yeah, that's
Hatsu's twice cut, so he can drop that first. Not losing
probably
that much.
should. Yeah.
At this point in the game, he definitely has some tiles of safety. Oh, that's just Tempai? That's Tempai with Itsu.
Eat.
He'll jam. Somehow Henry saved. And, oh, doesn't take the Itsu. Is afraid of the 6, even though it's Nakasuji. Goes with the Genbutsu first. I definitely... Oh, and Greg with Sumo. Well, I did not know how this game... I stand corrected. I did not know
Yeah,
how
I
this
guess you do.
Wow. Just a wild swing of events. First turn con?
Kang.
Yes, let's go.
Wow. I mean, from his position, I get it.
It reveals a new door. You get to play towards the door instead of reacting later. And it's
Right.
a terminal. The York had a 4-pin. It's not like this 1-pin was going to be useful to you in any other block. So definitely a very classic turn 1 con.
Yeah, and you can't afford the efficiency hit.
Yeah,
of,
now
like,
he
keeping it
knows
around.
that
I feel like you
he
either
must-
con or you just dump it right away.
We'll cut away from the pinch on, aiming to build towards this 5 Sodora. Jay calls double non and is 2 away from Tempai. Crossway Henry with a mess of a hand. It's very difficult for him to put something together. And for Amy, she's doing all right. She can call the tune and confirm first place.
Yeah, not a bad position to be in.
Okay, improvement in the Pinzu. Big. Ooh, 5 mantra. Okay. I was very curious how Greg would choose to play here because he really wants to use this door if at all possible. The most efficient
I'm
is dropping.
not sure how I would have played that. Oh,
Yeah, this is maximum reward. The plan is to cut the entire pin block and draw the 6-so into a Nobitan shape, or just draw the door yourself and have Jiamen Jiamen
Oh,
Nishanten.
yeah, the maximum reward indeed. I don't think I would have played. Oh, wow.
1
Oh, this weight is kind of dying, but it's still 4 left in the wall. It's dying on the board, but not in the hands. So Greg could
Gee.
have a huge comeback here, but Jay calls into Tempai and the 8-mon, 9-mon, and Henry's holding on for now, but
Wow. Okay, very tense. I'm kind of rooting for Greg here, but
it's a
I
huge
do
opportunity for Greg.
I
Ricci,
do think that
Ipeco,
Jay's weight is quite well. It depends on what Henry does, really,
it does.
and what Greg draws, I guess.
Right now, the Monzu look bad to Greg's pond, so if the 9-so is drawn, I think it's coming out.
1
Jay comfortably tossed the 7. Amy approaching Honitsu. 3-mon passed. There's the last 9, so
Oh,
Henry's holding all of the
Ken-
weight. And it's a sumo!
相撲
that would be big win.
Ricci, sumo, Ipeco, Dora Dora. 2 chances at Ura for Hane. Misses!
Oh, the miss, that hurts. I mean,
Oh.
it's like it's it's a big win either way.
It is a
but
huge win, but
you
I mean,
want
he would have been in first.
like the Haneman would have been gotten him over 30K. So
He would have actually been first place with an Una hit there. That's okay. The game is not over at South 4. Still in last, but only by 2,400. And the scores are so tight now. It's as if none of this happened.
yeah, I was like earlier. It looked like Greg was about to take a pretty like a kind of a nasty fourth, but now really anything could happen here. So
Well, frankly, I am not surprised. This is very much Greg's style. He'll fight for his hands, and sometimes you fight and you lose, and a lot of times you fight and you win. And currently, it's evened out. Greg essentially has evened out his deal-ins with wins, and the only loss he has is due to like sumo loss. So it's really really nice when your wins balance out so well. Then for Henry across the table.
oh that I don't like that 7-so cut. I
Yeah.
see that 6-6-6-7, and I say that can be my head can be there. My 2-2-3 can be a full shape.
Yeah, it kind of feels like
I
Greg.
really think it should have been the 7-pin.
The 7-pin is useful for Ipeco, but beyond that, not much other than improving your chances at a good shape in the Pinzu later. Henry holding a Dama Tempai here doesn't like the Penchon weight. And if he doesn't like, oh, maybe just passing the 3-pin because it was Dora and going to slam the Ricci on the next turn. If it gets called by dealer, he doesn't want to fight. But if he's declared Ricci, he can't help but fight. Oh no, it just stays Dama. Okay. In the meantime, Amy with some really interesting shapes on the left. She's hoping to draw some more triplets.
Okay, so did draw into a 3-sided weight here, but Dom like
Yeah, Fudi 10, maybe hoping to get something.
it's 30-10. Yeah, I missed that.
I think you can just slam the Ricci here for sure. I'm not even afraid of the other players because 2 of the door are out already.
Yeah, I don't like the upgrade chances. You mean you need to draw back around the so, and then you've got that 7-so for a 10 threat.
Yeah, drawing 147 is a pretty good upgrade.
That's true. I guess you could draw the 147 in the mon. I didn't think about that.
Outside of that, yeah, maybe nothing too amazing.
I guess you can take a sumo if it comes, but in that case, you might as well Oh, you could take this way too.
It's a penchant though. 9-pin is gone.
1
Okay, we'll take it anyway.
Oh, yeah. So that's a 6-0. Yeah,
Yes,
I guess
6-pin.
like you said,
And the
or
last
6-pin. Yeah.
there's one left in the wall. And the other thing I just realized is that maybe Henry doesn't want to reach you because that drops him below Amy, even if it's a bad weight. Oh my goodness, Jay's drawing them all. Jay's that now.
That's true. Actually, that might be. That's very very likely to be the thought process there.
5-pin, you could try to jam it, and Henry will. Because the cut in the pins you went 7-pin, then 4-pin, it feels a little bit safer to try that. With a half Suchi being on the lower side.
1
Oh my goodness, Jay draws Adora and will slam Ricci. On the 2 5-pin that just came out, is this even live? No, it's a dead weight.
I wonder.
Might have missed the door indicator as did the
Yeah. Well, even
time.
then, if you think you're waiting on literally one tile,
Yeah, you might not take that. Henry's hoping for a safe tile 5
I
odd.
feel like it was a
Slide it.
quick scan, and with the confusion of trying to confirm that's what the shape was.
Right. This gets Henry off, and now Amy's in tempi, but she's gonna drop the 6-pin for it if she wants it.
Uh-oh.
Does not. Okay.
No, it does not.
As expected of Amy.
Pom.
Gets back to tempi anyway. I was gonna say
That's
that was a 7-mod drop was Henry's chance
that
to get
was a
back in.
clever dance.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
well done. Greg, still as he was in tempi, maintains the dealership. Jay, fortunately, draws all the dealing tiles and doesn't have to worry about that. 2 sticks, 4 homba.
ポン
His hand could take the lead. And the game. Big penchant fill for Greg.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's difficult when your direct competition opens up, speeds up their hand with a Yakuhai call. That penchant really makes you feel a lot more optimistic about your chances in this hand.
So let's see. I wonder if Jay is doing this math like preemptively, but if you add up the pot,
3,200 in the pot.
you see what that means.
Oh my. Oh my. We could have an
yeah.
interesting situation. Should note to the audience that if there is a tie in Armel, the Uma does get split between the 2 players who are tied. Amy, though, not content with letting a tie happen, just draws the south into tempi, beating 2-5, so 3 tiles on the wall for the weight. Tiles being held are currently really well locked in.
Yeah, so this has 1, 2, and 2 5s left.
But no one can really afford overflow here. Jay finds tempi.
On 4-7, which is similarly depleted, kind of. 1-7, 2 4s. So it's 3 versus 3.
If Greg draws the wrong tile into tempi, though, I guess Tumon is not live, 8-pin not live, so he cannot draw the wrong tile into tempi, unfortunately. Henry, tempi as well, 3-6-0. We said next win takes it all. Oh, will Amy swap the weight for I think Chanta doesn't matter. And she has the 6-so call. There's no Chanta. The 2-so, 3-so weight is kind of tricky, but especially because the 3-so just came out. But no need to jam a more dangerous 4-so into any of these hands. She can play out the safer 8-pin. Oh, and there's the 7.
Yeah, that's...
And Henry has to jam it
out.
So the as foretold,
As as spoiled by the log.
spoiled by the log. This the pot indicated that it was possible.
Yeah.
Jay 18.1, Amy. So Jay and Amy will not get these actual scores. Subtract 5 from Jay and add
They will
those
each
5
get
to Amy.
13.1.
13.1 for both. Henry hangs on to third, minus 7.7. Greg does indeed take a fourth, but I mean, relative
It's
to what it was
it's
likely he was
pretty
going to get,
light.
you're
Yeah.
amazingly pleased. You're just a little sad you didn't hit Uda when you had 2 chances at it. Wall was not uh, going to give him that luxury, but Jay does climb a little bit higher in the standings. Yeah, that's true. Greg does dip below Pio. Now, Pio, of course, has 4 games yet to play, so this cut line is so cutthroat right now. Typically, you're pretty safe at minus 50, but you can't feel comfortable there in B1, that's for sure. All right, checking the list to see what's happening next. We've got another game from this B1 table. We've got a C1 table that's starting soon. James, Christie, Ross, and Scott. I'm kind of interested in sticking with this table though.
Yeah, this table is pretty I think it's pretty interesting, but I am feeling a little fatigued, so I am going to tag out.
Sweet. Thanks so much for your time, Michael. Awesome doing commentary with you. See you around. Michael as well. Going to play 2 more games in this session to try to lock up a promo spot. We wish him good luck. And to take his place, I think I've got a Korak.
Something like that, anyway.
Yeah, what a wild game that last one was, with Greg falling down and then making the big run back. Still going to be a very tense situation.
Just couldn't hit that aura on the big sumo there towards the end.
And we will have the next game coming up in just a minute. In the meantime, there have been a couple results from the B1 division, as another series is taking place simultaneously. And I think Philip is in that series, has made a little bit of progress towards escaping the relegation zone, but not quite making it. The other players basically staying about where they started. So no major gains with respect to the promotion races.
Yeah, so they've played a couple of games. In the most recent one, it looks as though Philip was the only one over 30K, but only got 27.6 out of it. Rachel -2, Gelhan -7.6, Edwin -18. And in what I believe was the first one they played today, Galhan really ran away with it, plus 46.1, Philip the plus 6.0, Edwin -10.3, Rachel -41.8. So we can take a look at the overall B1 standings. And as you can see on your screen here, Philip, a couple good results here, but still has a long way to go. Honestly, sitting at that -138, you're thinking maybe if I can get it down to like maybe -100, then perhaps someone drops below me. Ryan has a bunch of games left. Harrison's always known as a bit of a loose cannon. Pio can definitely drop there, but you're going to have to jump 2 people. It's a lot of work to do still. On the other end, Rachel took a big hit in that first game, as you mentioned, but is still clearly safe. Has basically no problems. Edwin sitting at -7.0, really aiming for one of those positions to be able to maybe potentially get a free pass based on some hiatus information. If you get towards, I think it's around top 8, depending on what happens in the divisions above, may be able to sneak in, but regardless, you must be at least ±0, and same situation for Gauhan, both sitting there in the negatives, but certainly within striking range of at least 7th.
Yeah, I think the big story of that table is definitely Galhan, who was sitting right around where Ryan and Harrison are, I think, in the -40 range, close to that relegation zone, but a big pop-off game with a plus 40, over 40 points gain, and another positive, or at least not too bad of a negative session in the second game, means that he is actually right around plus minus 0. So Galhan might be finishing with a positive this season with, of course, I guess that's 3 games for him yet to play it.
It's 2 games for that table left to play. I don't know. It looks as though there's another game outstanding in a previous series. You'll see a whole
Gotcha.
bunch of names with odd numbers, and it looks like a Jay, Amy, Galhan, Greg table maybe, and then
Sure.
presumably someone missed a game in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely possible. It could also just be a missed game from Galhan himself that caused him to be in the negatives to begin with. But all that being said, definitely keep an eye on that series as it progresses. I believe they are continuing to play, as is this table. We've got Jay opening up in the dealer seat, Amy on the right, Craig across the table, and Henry on our left.
All right. Well, dealer here is Jay. Can accept Dora, probably as an Itsu and So. I mean, maybe there's, well, as you go, even so, wonder if you Sanchoku is an option. This is one of those hands that has just so many ways to play. Sit, wait for your draws, and see what happens. Don't try to force anything with a hand like this. Just let the draws guide you towards something. On the right, pretty standard Pin-2 type hand. Maybe now you have that Chun pair. You can call and go. The problem is these shapes are awful. There's no value. It's just a really ugly hand. Across the way, similarly, kind of a normal Pinfu hand. There's a floating Dora, so maybe you get something out of it later. Maybe you Peiko an upper bond, not too much there. And on the left, probably the best hand of the bunch, but really just not much value. Could get there with a couple draws for a 2-3-4 Sanjiku. I know your personal favorite, and potential Itsu in So if you can get the 5-6-7.
Yeah, particularly with Adora being the 3-pin. There are some draws to value, as you mentioned. Jay's still kind of floating around with these honor and terminal cuts, hoping that something comes together. Very likely he'll end up with a penchant waiting on that door unless he draws one soon. And for Amy, again, same position as before. Callable Chun, hasn't seen it yet. And just waiting to improve the shapes slowly but surely.
And just no one at this table, on these hands anyway, has any value. We might see across the way, it looks like building towards possible Chi Toy or Toy Toy, especially compared to that door up, or maybe you get super greedy and move toward Shinitsu here.
Immediately rejects that idea. But second door draw, certainly something to think about. There's a door for Henry, but he dropped the 2-pin already.
Can still accept it here with the Ryoncon, 3-5-7.
Naturally, Ishanten right now. Now, of course, if he draws the 1-4 Mon, he'll slam the Ricci waiting on the 4-pin to accept the Dora. Do you ever try to get sneaky and drop the 3-pin waiting on the 6 there?
No. Dora shiny. You like Dora.
We do see a cheat from Amy, so going Atosuke waiting for the Chun to come out, saying, these shapes are so bad, I just need to be able to call for them.
I mean, I was half joking about a Chinitsu across the way, but it's kind of developing that way for Greg. Wouldn't it have been with those discards?
Yeah, I mean, if you just sent it 2 mon, 2 mon, 1 mon, 1 mon, you'd be Ishanten. With like
Pretty easily callable shapes too.
Absolutely.
Well, nice fill there of the Dora here for Jay. Still needs a bit of help here, and that's the problem with this hand. It's always been a bit of a mess. There's our Ricci across the way. That's a Shumpon 9-mon 6-0 for Ricci Nomi. The problem here is there's just not many value upgrades.
Yeah, so just slams the Ricci. 9 mon is pretty sneaky weight. Amy starts with a 2 mon. It looks like she's going to try to get out without dealing the 9 if at all possible.
What do you think of cutting the 9-mon and just floating the Dora? Then would have connected the 2, and then you would have a pretty good Ricci, possibly Tanyao, and a Dora.
Yeah, that's definitely the value play. Maybe said, at the end of second row, it's too late to flip that idea.
Rip. There's your sumo, too.
Oof. With the couple of 8 months that have come out, it's probably a little surprised that the 9 hasn't come out from someone at this point. There's the third 8. Surely someone believes in one chance.
Well, at the same time, you're kind of wondering, wait, why hasn't it come out? Someone has it paired up or envoed up. But Jay gonna throw it here, deals into the Ricci. We'll see if we get any aura. Nope. So 1300. Jay's perfectly fine with that result. When you're a dealer, you generally don't mind dealing into Ricci Dome. And even if it just went to a draw, he's paying 1,000 in Tempai payments.
Yeah, you're only sad if an Uda's or a couple of Uda are found.
Well, you don't need Ura with this hand. Amy has Yakuhai Dora 3 potentially here, with that Dora pair easily callable. Shape's decent, not great, but certainly workable. On the right, we see a loose Dora. The rest of shapes are okay. We might see that Dora come out. Across the way, Pinfu type hand, 5 mon would really help that hand. And on the left, similarly, pretty standard Pinfu hand. Few pairs, but now just look at that mon shape though. 3, 5, 7, 7, 9. Ugh.
So difficult to handle hands with so many Kanchan shapes. Big question mark is gonna be on the right. How long do we hold this Dora?
Amy cuts the 1 mon, going for the Doko Dream.
I mean, it's technically live. Less live now that Craig has drawn a 2-mon.
Well, there's our Dora, and there it goes.
Home.
You will rarely have an easier call to make than that one.
Yeah, and Henry sitting in Ishanten says, you know what, I don't want this door to be dragging me down. Let me just get rid of it now. And once dealer calls it, all of a sudden the situation at the board changes drastically.
Well, and you've also seen the dealer make a full block cut here with the 4-2. Ishanten here for Amy.
Yeah, not gonna even bother holding a save tile wants maximum efficiency, especially with a 9-pin 4 out. Makes sense to try to aim for the 8-pin. In fact, if you called the Tuso or the 2-mon,
Home.
you might still take the Shab away.
I'd take the Shampone for sure here.
We saw Max
Yeets.
make a similar play in the A1 game earlier.
Well, there's a Tempai across the way. That is a Ricci Pinfu on 2-5 mon.
And Amy says, I don't care. I have a Mangan. 12,000 points.
I have value. I have all the value.
Ooh,
Now that's an interesting draw. Could have cut the 7-pin there if
Home.
you want. It does look pretty bad. Now we're going to see the choice. Nope, takes the Ryanman here, but it doesn't matter. There's a Sumo on the right, as Greg will steal the points on the Ricci stick.
Sends Stick Rex dealership.
All right. Well, Greg is dealer here. Ooh, 789 Sanshiku being what I'm seeing here. This is one where if you draw Dora, you're like, yeah, I guess it's Dora, but I just wanted the other one so much more. Or potentially, of course, 678 Sanshiku shifts in here available. On the right, pretty nice hand there. Potentially Peiko in Mon. Has a Dora, pretty good Tanya shape. 456 Sanshiku. Very good hand. Across the way, bunch of pairs. The question is, how are you going to play that? Are you just going to sell out on it? Just plays efficiency for now, not brute forcing the Tanya out of it, just kind of playing straightforward and seeing what happens. Passes the 3-so, so not going for the Toy here, which wouldn't have any value. Greeting a bit. And finally on the left, we have Amy looking for that 567 Sanshoku with a Dora, and is now Ishanten for it.
Yeah, 6-mon might be a little bit trickier to find than she really wants it to be. They're going to have to contend with Jay finding Ishanten as well.
Perfect Ishanten for Jay. Imagine the 7-pin cuts the 3. I guess that makes sense because, of course, you do have a 3 already having been discarded.
Yeah, just
Of course, Abe would love to see that 7-pin.
Oh my goodness.
Oh! Well, that's a gift for not believing in 3-so.
Hey, when this Ricci comes out later, this 1-4 is going to be so strong. Ooh,
And Henry's stuck in an awkward Ishanten. 2-so's your normal cut here. I mean, I guess you could go 6-so, but you don't want the 3-so weight. I would definitely cut 2-so here.
Yeah. 8? Oh,
Yeet.
no.
Cuts the 8. This almost brute forces you into the 3 weight. Well, we have Tempai
Boom.
across the way, and a Chi, and a deal in. Not a Potsu because of the Chi, Ricci, Pinfu, no Aura, so 2,000. Couple cheap Ricci deal ins here.
Yeah, sometimes when you're looking at your shape and you're trying to work out what you prefer, You forget to look at the board and see what's been cut already, especially if the shape is somewhat complex. But all that didn't matter.
Ooh,
Jay
interesting
just waited.
pass there on the north there. Greg definitely looking for Cheetoy here. I'm looking at those pairs. I would just want to call for easy Mungon.
Yeah,
I
Toy
think the
Toy.
Hatsu's an easy call. 9-1's an easy call. 9-So's an easy call. 2-pin isn't that bad, but
Oh,
is already
Each.
Cheetoy on turn 2, waiting on the tune, and we might see an Ipatsu on the right, because, oh, well, can cut the 4-So safely now. Jay may just shove the tune. 2-Mon, so just going to outright shove with this hand.
I mean, 4-So 6-pin Ricci. Very suspicious. It was an early enough
Well,
Ricci that
suspicious is a bit debatable, because it's like, what are you going to do?
Don't.
And there's the deal. Ricci, Cheetoy. See if there are any aura. Doesn't get the aura, 3,200 off of that. And even so, it's still just 3,200, so not the cheapest deal in, but you're fine with that. You can work with it. Do drop to 4th, though. So when you have those aura 2 flip, the Cheetoy gets scary.
Right. Oh, man. Che, is this Kokushi? I'll get your
1,
second.
2, no. I'm going to
second-
say I don't count enough just at the looks of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and
Pump.
a pair. So you're going from, what, 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 and a pair is not good. I like the Honitsu play. I don't like even the West cut here. I just brute force the 9-pin.
And, well, we're moving that direction now. Henry opened up on the left with the non-call. We're in the south round. Non-potential Dora.
Yeah, on the right, more Cheetoy, this time from Amy, with 2 Dora, though. May end up going regular hand based on that later. And across the way, potential Itsu, or maybe even Chin Itsu in pin now.
Ooh.
Now we see from Jay. Yeah, Jay wants a fight here. I'm somewhat surprised the 6-0 is cut, because I don't necessarily want to get away from this if I do end up drawing a Dora, but just doesn't want that tile sitting around.
I mean, geez. 3-So. It's even better Dora acceptance, but just lets it go.
Yeah, but you have the 1-So. The 3-So doesn't really fit here.
Yeah, very preemptively just making sure that these tiles in the Dora suit get cut to prevent Amy from being able to make progress. Oh, third Dora.
And of course, Jay sees the tune, so Magira's like, couldn't I have drawn that? It would have made this hand really fun.
And Amy says, with 3 Dora, I'll just go Tanya.
The Shanten here for Jay. Tune just going to be the normal cut here.
Still
Instead,
good.
guts the 7, keeping Shosangen Chanta available.
Oh.
And punish.
Oh, and Amy Tsumo. Dama's
Sumo on the right, the Dama there with 3 Dora says, you know what, I can just Dama this, and then goes, oh, maybe I should have reached it. Oh, well, Mongon takes over first place. We're in South 2 Amy's dealer.
Wow.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just an Amy starting hand, TM.
Now, to really verify it, Amy will draw the last 3 Mondora and slam 3-sided Ricci pin for Dora 2 with potential Tanya.
Yeah, not even considering the 7-month cut there. Not even considering the Nobeton.
Oh,
Wow. Just Ricci the 6 here. Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, probably Tanya, considering 2 of those 9s are out. But so many of the 3 6s are held on the right. There's only 1 3 and 1 6 left. Actually, 2 of the 9-So. At the same time, across the way, Henry has a hand that's worth fighting on this hand.
Greg spots the 7-pin, 5-pin cut.
And he's just shoving. Says, you know what, you're dealer, but I don't really care. You
I mean,
should pawn that. Do not con that. This should be a pawn. Makes the decision there.
Ishanta.
Because it's just like a pawn Hatsu and you'll be Tenpai for Mongon.
Each.
Well, we have Tenpai on the right now. Greg says, I can make a decent hand here, and I have all your outs to speak of.
Yeah, Greg
Waiting on 3-6 Mon.
could have cheated the 7 into Tenpai, but chose not to and gets rewarded with a Ricci instead.
Tenpai across the way, 3-Mon Hatsu Shampon.
Oh, the one.
Oh, there's the
No.
9-So. It is the cheap end, but will be expensive here. Ricci pin food Aura 1, and the Aura boosting it to a Mongon. Huge win there for Amy. Now, this is the type of result she's looking for, because she needs to move up the standings if she's going to try and push for
Oh
this
my.
promotion. And I mean, if you keep getting hands like this, then you don't have to worry too much about it. This is very much just call and go for the Honitsu, and there we see it.
Oh man, could be another Bungon if she works towards Toy or pairs up the Yakuhai Haku.
And if you ever played with Amy, she just does this at times. When she's up against the wall, just draws the hands that move her forward. It's really frustrating to play against, especially in a tournament scenario. But she's shown this plenty of times, particularly this season in Nomi League, where her team ended up winning the championship there. But we also have Greg here as pulling the Hatsu, probably just going Toy, or maybe not Honitsu. I think you cut the 6-mon and kind of hedge your option. That's going to be the play across the way. As the South can call, the rest of the hand's pretty cheap, though. On the left, few pairs. Maybe just go Tanyao.
Greg will just hold the Tempai here.
I think Greg should be playing for value here.
I think
Where
so.
is he in the stand? He's right on the cut line. So he needs to be playing for more here. He can't really afford a minor fourth.
And there's a chance to be a Mungon if you get Itsu on top of things. Useful draw for Jay though, he shoved them.
Tempai for dealer, waiting on 3-so. For Honitsu East, of course, Sumo would be extra up to 40 fu.
Tempai for Jay.
Each.
Slams it.
Tempai, Ricci, pin fu. Oh, there's the one. I mean, now you have to do it.
Yeah, feeling a little
So rewarded
now.
for it. We'll pick up the 2300, but in third and not particularly close to first.
Yeah, but it's a
There's
Greg.
a bunch of pairs, though. You see, this is someone who likes to go for G-Toy.
We saw this in the last game as well. Greg won 1,000 points to just end Amy's dealership and get to his dealership, and then win a dealer Mungon. So we'll see if we can do it again.
Just going to play efficiency here and probably call the South and go. On the right, looks like a Honitsu and Mon. Across the way, is that a Kokushi? Doesn't really look like it.
Yeah.
Now, feels like a Honitsu and Pin. And on the left, that's just Tanyao. We see the South has now been called by Greg, and already Ishunta needs 8-mon and the 5-8-so. Oh, and Greg's like, couldn't I just chi that one?
Yeah, you're really hoping that lag was chi lag and not pon lag.
Well, in this case, it was actually both.
Oh, this is the opportunity to switch out.
I might have cut 9-mon and just move. I guess you can't get Doku out of this one. It's so tempting, though.
Yeah, you'd have to completely rework that Mon block.
Especially after having cut the 2-3 already. But okay, now you have your choice.
Shampoo makes sense here.
I think the shampoo makes sense because you can accept Dora.
Yeah, upgrade both shapes. 8-mon draw is obviously painful, but 6-mon draw, excellent.
I feel the 8-pin's a much worse backfire if you've taken the Kanchan as opposed to the 8-mon here.
Right. Like the backfire you're most sad with is the 8. So try to avoid that.
And you just win. Don't worry about it. Picks up the 1500. Will get tied now for second place, but still under 30K. Oh, and you know I said Amy just picks up hands?
What? That's a hand.
That's a pretty nice hand. South is a Yakuhai, north is Yakuhai. Looks like Honitsu. Maybe even a Shosanga developing now.
Okay.
But Greg has a Tanya type hand, also a floating, well, not really a floating Dora, but a Dora Kanchan. The fast hand, though, is across the way. That is a Ricci Dora 1 on 2-so, 6-so.
Just as Amy pairs up another wind. The East is twice out.
I mean, if I'm Amy, I'm shoving that hand.
Shosu, she is not very frequently seen. Greg is dealer, now Ishanten. Henry Ishanten. Wow, all these players are starting to get there.
Yeah, I'm just going to shove the 9 for now.
Oh my
Not the
goodness.
most efficient play. Oh, wow. Yep, Amy says we're going.
I might as well with these draws.
Dealer Ishan 10.
It's very wide now for dealer.
Tempai on the right. And this is why I didn't like the 9 pin, is you could be Tempai on the Ipeco now.
Could switch to an even wider shape, cutting 8-mon, 9-mon.
Yeah, I like the 8-9. We don't really want this penchant. 9's already cleared. The 5 cleared, so it looks pretty safe. But nope, just shoving it. And there's the 6.
Eat.
And there it goes. And
Go.
there's the deal in. Ricci, Dora 1. No aura, but we'll get Jay into second place. Drop Henry a bit further into fourth. But Henry has a workable hand here. It's probably just Honitsu, but it's certainly callable.
And South is in the wall.
Could make an Itsu out of it as well. And a 3 so indicates that definitely the plan is just go. We'll see if this 9 gets pulled. Taking it, yeah, just going for the Honitsu, which seems reasonable here. You're a dealer and all last. You have to win this hand. On the right, looks like probably a Tanya play. Jay, especially with where Jay is, he doesn't care if he's under 30k. He just wants the game to end in a reasonable position. Across the way, Amy has a pretty good hand there. Probably Tanya as well. Also has a floating Haku Dora. And on the left, an Anko, a few pairs. Like, it's a long way from Tsuanko, which is what you want with that hand. And the worst thing is you see 2 people calling, so you're not going to get there.
Yeah, kind of rough. At this point, you're just taking a reaching and hoping for Uda. Sumo Uda. That's not even enough to get you to 30k.
Like, yeah, if you're Greg, you're just shoving anything. You're not shoving anything because you're worried about that dealer, but you're not expecting much from this hand.
You're almost hoping that dealer wins.
Yeah, you're hoping dealer wins and is cheap, which is exactly what it is.
Would you go so far as to help feed Henry's hand from this point?
No, because I don't know it's Chinitsu. I'm never forgiving myself if I feed a Chinitsu. But that's going to be Tempai here. Now, it'll be an interesting question for Henry, is if you draw like 4 pin, do you cut west-west?
I think I'm comfortable with that. A little tougher question is if you Tsumo, do you win? Or do you cut west-west?
Well, there's a Tempai on the right, 5-8-mon. Waiting on dealer Gimbutsu here. A bit of a backfire with the east there for Henry, but you can't know that ahead of time.
The one thing that's making... Oh,
there's the 5, and Jay doesn't like it. He's right, and there he goes.
But he looks at the hand and says, no, Dora? Excellent.
Yeah, you deal into Honitsu and you hold your breath in the Dora's in. Oh, 29, sure. We have tied second again. 25-4 for both Greg and Jay. Henry this time has a much weaker hand, maybe a 6-7-8 or 7-9 Sanjiku with some shifting, maybe even Tanya with this. But you just build for each to see what happens. On the right, well, you have a couple Anko. Building towards, I guess, Sun Anko. Maybe Sue, but probably just Sun Anko there. Across the way, sorry about my throat there. We have, I don't know, what do we do with that? Tanya, we have the 8-9 pin and all those honors. It just feels a little slow. And on the left, pretty good shapes altogether, but needs time. And that's one thing I don't know that you're going to have, especially as you have Ishan 10 on the right.
I think Amy just answered the question of what's happening with that hand. She cut the Penchon 9-8 pin after drawing 2-mon. AKA, I'm not playing this hand. Unless I get perfect draws, I'm going to hold as many of these safe honors as I can. Oh, she's moving in the realm of perfect draws.
Well, you see the hesitation on that one. Well, there's a second Dora for Greg, who now just wants to call this down for Tanya.
Oh, that's Tempai for Jay.
Yeah, I think you just Ricci this.
That's not Sun Uncle, but...
No, but at the same time, it's second place.
And Amy's like, yep, this is exactly what I was expecting. Now I can fold.
Cheat.
I'll break it.
The question is, do you cheat just to ruin Ipatsu? And the answer is yes. And now, if you're Greg, you really want to shove.
You really want to shove, but at the same time, if you deal in, you're probably getting fourth. Not even
Ooh,
probably,
now
you are.
that's the draw. Your third door, one so safe. You figure the 4 is reasonably safe because it's one chance with all those door blockers.
But even the 4
I
came out.
mean, I
Jumbo.
like that hand. Oh, well, that's a fun draw.
Could even pull
No,
that.
you don't con that. There's no way.
Yeah.
You just cut the. You could go ahead and cut the 4 so preemptively. Goes ahead and shove the 5. And that's a pretty hard shove throwing the 5.
I mean, he's got 3 Dora.
He has 3 Dora, callable shapes everywhere. It's perfectly reasonable, too. That should be a chi. That should be
Chi.
easy chi. 6 is Nakasuji.
Dom.
Oh, there's the deal in. Richi Nomi.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Ora-san! Jay sneaks over 30,000. Just flip 3 Aura. And that may seal Henry's season.
Oh, wow, what a flip.
So Amy, the big winner here, but the other side of that is she loses 5 points because someone's back over 30K after that. We'll get 30.7. I'm happy with that. Jay gets 8.7 with that Aura 3 at the very end. Greg, a little sad here with the minus 9.6. And Henry, very sad here with that Aura 3 on the end, minus 29.8, and is just running out of games. And this just hasn't been Henry's season.
No, and at this point, the eyes are now on Greg to pull something together. Currently in that first relegation spot, but Pio still with games. Philip chasing down, I think even at this very moment, Harrison not far behind. Ryan with 4 games. It's gonna be a very tense situation. So Greg still just with 2 games left, trying to pick up as many points as he can.
All right. Well, I think we wanted to get to a game at the top of the hour, but I don't see anything going on right now.
Yeah, looks like we are currently on a pause. Let's see what the next scheduled game is. Oh yeah, if this table is done, there's going to be a bit of a gap before the next one.
All right. Well, we have about a 40-minute break then. So it's up to you as what you want to do, Nathaniel.
Well, that's a very long break. Perhaps we can call it for the night. We've had a decent outing. I'm not seeing any other games to tide us over currently live.
All right. There's a 2-match starting in 35 minutes, but I think we're just going to call it then. So let's do our obligatory plugs of our socials.
Sure thing. Naturally, we've already talked about the fact that the American Ricci website is available to check out all the standings as they happen live. And you want to see the results of those A2 games that are going to be played later tonight, certainly check us out there. You can go to the A2 League, and there'll be a little bit of a spreadsheet that you can see the games as they're completed. The registration for the upcoming preseason, the deadline has passed. That was the March 11th deadline, but of course you can always still fill out that registration sheet anyway. There is a very small chance that if your seat is required to fill out a table, you could sneak in. And even if you don't, you can always act as a substitute player for the upcoming season. There is every now and then there's a need for someone to fill a seat, and you can get access to all of the useful resources on our Discord channel as well.
And in terms of live tournaments going on, Berkeley registration is still open. And I believe that now Philly's going to come up in a little over a week. And at the same time, DC finally filled up. So that is now filled at 112 people. So going to be a bunch of live games. We're getting into tournament season, live tournament season coming up pretty soon. Of course, the corollary to that is it means scheduling Armel games and Armel broadcast becomes incredibly difficult, but we will do what we can to get things up for you.
Absolutely. Look forward. I believe like every other weekend for the next month is going to be a big in-person tournament. So we'll try to keep everyone updated with results from those tournaments as well. As a lot of the players in the American Rishi Modeling League are also competitive in the IRL tournament scene. So love to keep an eye on everything that's going on.
All right, then. I think that's about it. We're going to wrap it up here for Nathaniel and Michael. This is Korak for the American Reach Mahjong League. Have a good evening.